Welcome back to the pond build. It is currently day 277 that we've been building this pond. In the previous episodes, this was just an abandoned old coal mine. Nothing really special to see here at all. That's when me and my dad came together and started building the pond. We started by taking out the trees, digging up the dirt, building the dam, and then it was time to let it fill up with water. Once it filled up with water, we've had a pretty bad discovery, which is the pond had a leak. And that's where we are now in our attempts to fix the leak. Now right now we have a big water pump out there. That's actually a pretty heavy duty and giant water pump. Of course they make bigger ones, but not many. Now long story short, we're pumping out the water from the pond out of the pond. That way we can lower the water level enough to try to really identify where the leak is. That's whenever we're able to fix it. If we really don't know where the leak is, we can't really do much about it. And so we've been pumping for about 2 days. It's probably gonna take 2 or 3 more days to really pump it down where it needs to be. So now we just leave that thing to pump out water, take the water level down, and we'll be back to check it tomorrow. All right, guys, it has been a couple days later, and this is where we are right here, right now. The pond, this is the lowest I've seen the pond since the day we built it 200 million years ago, or whenever it was. This is a long time ago. You get the point, though. I'm gonna do a real slow pan for y'all. Just check it out. Like, I know y'all seen the videos a little while ago where it was drained, but I've not seen this since, like, literally back in the fall when we built it. So it's down, all right? It's stinking down. And we're pumping it dry because the leak, we suspect, is still right down in there. So we have to pump this thing completely dry before we can even begin to start working on it. And something you'll notice is that all those trees and brush piles I added to the pond in the last episode, they've actually been taken out. And that's because they were actually a problem. Although they were great habitat for fish, they were not good habitat for fishermen to fish in. So we just went ahead and took them all out. And we're just going to restart with fish habitat after we get the pond leak fixed. All right, guys, it's been about 2 days since we last did the pumping out water. You can look over and you can see the water's as low as it's been, and especially up here on the upper side, it is starting to get pretty dry. But here's the important part. If we go down to where the leak is, it's still wet. It's not necessarily rolling out leaking water, but it is still wet. So what that means is that somewhere, even though the water level is mega low in the pond, the leak is still somewhere where the leak is able to get wet. Now that may be a little hard to understand, but what that means is that the leak is still a problem even at this water level, which is not good. That means that even if it filled up and it never rained again, the leak would just drain it down even lower than this. So the good news is that it's not supposed to rain for another week or 2. And also we're starting back work in the morning. So all this dirt right here, this is all fresh dirt that we hauled in here. We're gonna be packing this all around the bottom of the pond, and hopefully we'll pack it right over wherever the leak is. And hopefully we can finally stop this dang leak. As soon as we stop the leak, everything goes into building up the pond to be the best fishing pond ever. But we can't even do that until we stop the leak. One cool thing I did notice is that randomly in the bottom of the pond, some animal's been walking around in the bottom. Then once we got closer to it, we noticed it's actually a turkey. As for an update today, that's pretty much the update. Hopefully a lot of stuff's gonna be happening tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we're lucky, we might be able to finally stop that leak. And in the meantime, we're also still got the pump going, pumping out the water, because even that little spot that still does have water, we want to pump it on out. That way we can pack it full of dirt too. Basically a good clay lining. That way, no matter where the leak is or how many there is, we can stop them all up right here, right now, while we got the whole pond drained. All right, guys, something just happened. They're down here draining the pond, and they said there's fish in there. They said there's a pretty big fish in there, about the size of this GoPro thing. I only put a few minnows, and I'm talking like 10, and they were this big. Any fish that's bigger than 2 inches long, but it's news to me. I put minnows in here, but they were only like 2 inches long.
Look right here, what one come floating.
Yeah.
Right there.
Those are pretty big.
That's a big one there, brother. There was a frog in there a while ago, son, big as 2 fish.
There's about 10 minnows, and they've had the whole pond to themselves for about a year, so.
They grow, dude.
Yeah, they got big. What's the plan now?
We're gonna get this pump out of the way, and then he'll start pushing this dirt in there, and we're gonna try to seal up over there where the rocks are.
Yeah. We never really figured out where the leak was, did we?
Now, it's possible it could be right there,
But
or it could be on this side, and it could be in the bottom. So we put dirt and packed it in all over. It could be all right. We'll probably, if we have to do any work to it, we'll leave it low enough for the fish to stay down here on this lower end.
And as for over here, we got a little bit more to finish up, lining the pond. And then, fingers crossed, pond should be leak-free. Now, of course, there's no water in here, so we won't necessarily know if it's leak-free until a couple big old rains. It's time to figure out exactly where our water level is gonna be. We're gonna be making a flat spot around this edge, kind of like a little road, about 2 foot above the water level. That way we can get down to it and actually fish. And it won't be too crazy to mow. But first thing first for this job, my dad is over there with like a little scope thing. He's gonna be looking over here and seeing what number it reads. Once water gets right there, it starts draining. So we'll see what he says. He's looking through a little scope thing. All right, now we head back over there.
Up one. Good. Up 6. Up 2.
It takes one to hold the stick and one to paint.
That's good. You're looking for 3 foot even.
Go down the hill 2 inches. That's good. And now that we lined the entire bottom with new dirt and hopefully fix the leak, there's one other part of the pond that needs our attention. And that is the outlet pipe and the spillway, where the water is supposed to go out of. If you watched the last episode, you know that we also had a pretty big problem right here, where the water actually stopped going out of the outlet pipe, stopped going out of the spillway, and then just took a beeline straight down the dam, which eroded the dam pretty bad and could have been a disaster if we didn't get to it as soon as we did. So to fix this problem, we're going to lower the pipe a few inches, we're going to redig the spillway and line it with rocks so that it helps with erosion, and then instead of letting the water dump straight over the hill and run down the hill, which as we saw previously didn't turn out so great when a big rain came. Now, as the water comes out of the pipe, we're actually going to let it stay level for about 40 to 50 yards until it falls off a rock cliff, which has been shedding water for the past 50 years. So now the spillway's fixed, the leak is stopped, or at least we hope. And then the next couple weeks, the rain is coming. But before we do that, we still got to get down to the bottom, fix that fish structure, which is going to be super important for habitat of the fish. Click right here for our latest video in the land series, or right over here if you want to go fishing in the river.